Hey guys, my name's Camille. I'm going to be your TA this semester. I'm super excited to be working with you guys. I took this class 2 semesters ago, so spring of 2018. No, winter. It always confuses me. I feel like it's spring. Anyways, so winter of 2018. This is my second time TAing this class, so I'm super excited to be helping you guys. So I just wanted to introduce myself real quick in this video, as well as give you some pointers in this course and go over part of this week's material. I'm hoping to get a second part video up later this week. Sorry, I'm like moving my computer. Just because I didn't want this video to be too long, but it is going to be somewhat long, so I'm warning in advance. Like I said, my name's Camille. I am a pre-nursing major. I applied in May, and so I find out if I get in the program in November. So fingers crossed, but if not, I guess a backup plan will be needed. So I'm from Payson, Utah. I just got married in December of this past year, so I've been married for 9 months, approximately, give or take. This is I just transferred up here to BYU, Idaho. I was going to Utah Valley University before I came up here. Yeah, that's about me. I'm not that interesting right now, but I am excited to help you guys. I will have tutoring hours up, hopefully by Wednesday of this week. I just have a couple of beginning of the semester trainings before I'm authorized to put up hours that I can tutor you, and I will be posting video how to sign up for those. But if you ever have any questions, contact me. I can quiz you, I can answer questions, I can give you testing strategies. Whatever you guys need, whether on campus or online, we can work something out. Students in the past have found it very helpful. I will also be posting videos like this every week, just not as long and not as much about me. And I've heard those are also helpful because people can reference them throughout the week while they're studying. So I just wanted to go through like the course outline and things that I have found helpful. Okay, so I always struggle with technology, so I apologize for that. Okay, so as you go through the semester, you'll have a module each week. So this week is module 1, first week. And so if you go to the module 1 page, there's all these things that you need to do each week. Week 1 has more than usual just because there's the get to know you boards and such. I will be posting my videos on the collaboration board. Other people will be posting questions and helpful hints that they found. So it's a really important place to go, especially early in the week and right before you take your test at the end of the week. Another helpful thing is the histology, the overviews. Each week there's an overview. My computer decided to be slow. But on it, it's gonna have obviously what you're supposed to do during the week. But if you scroll down, it's usually step 2 or 3. It's gonna have online learning activities. I already have it up because I clicked on it earlier. Let's see if it's still folded up. So it's gonna bring you to something like this. For these first 2 weeks, you're just gonna have a bunch of videos, and they're really long. I'm not gonna lie. It took me a long time to get through them when I was taking the class, but they're really helpful. I mean, sometimes they give you a lot more information than you actually need to know, which is sometimes kind of frustrating because you're memorizing all this information and you're I don't even need to know that. So I'm just warning you that in advance. But he does have a lot of helpful hints on being able to identify different tissues. So it's very helpful. But later on, they won't be videos. They'll just be the pictures that you need to memorize for the quizzes each week. Just in regards to the quizzes, you'll have a practice quiz, which you can take as many times as you want. So take it all times and get the whole point. I think it's worth 20 points each time. So it's worth retaking multiple times. One thing that helped me when I was in taking the class is I would take the quiz 3 or 4 times until I was getting consistent hundreds on it. And then I'd take the quiz 3 times, and instead of looking at the multiple choice, I would cover the multiple choice and I'd look at the picture and I would identify off the top of my head, coming up with the words on my own what it was, because your actual quiz that worth 25 points, it's not multiple choice, it's write-in. So it's really good practice to like be able to come up with the words off the top of your head. So that's what I recommend. I recommend trying to get at least 100 3 times before taking, like on the practice quiz, before taking your real test, just because it's like good practice, obviously, but the way the questions come, they come from like a pool of like 500 questions. So if you take the quiz a bunch of times, you'll probably see a lot of the questions that when you take the quiz, those questions will pop back up. So not only do you get the practice, but you also get to see some of the material. But so those are my hints for that. There's also like the lab manual. I think it's really helpful. Some people don't find it as helpful, but I think it has like hidden gems in it. So that's just under your lab reading. Yeah, so that is like my like advice, I guess, I don't know, on how to succeed in the class. And then I just wanted to go over like a quick PowerPoint that I made that just go over the epithelial tissues, which you're learning this week, and ways that I have found that it like little tips and tricks to like look at the pictures and identify them, because sometimes they look a lot alike. So I just wanted to go through them like, I don't know, vocabulary word for vocabulary word. So simple squamous, it's just, I think, squished. So if you look at the nucleus here, it just looks squished, like squamous, squished. And then one thing that's really important when you're like learning your epithelials is to always find your lumen. Your lumen's just like the open space, from what I understand. So this is like your open space, your lumen, and then right on the border of it, you have these squished cells. And so there's just these squished squamous cells. And then simple, for means of this class, or maybe just in general, I'm not sure. But so simple just means like one layer. So we just have this one row of squamous cells right there. And then you have like a different layer of other things right there. But for simple, one row. Same with your simple cuboidal. You're just going to have one row of these cells that are like, look like a square. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but you're just going to have this like one row of these like square looking cells, and they have a circular nucleus. So whereas the squamous, it was squished and like almost flat, this one is almost a perfect circle in your cuboidal. So those are things to look for, is like, is it one row? If it's one row, it's going to be simple. And then like, is it a squished nucleus, or is it a circle nucleus? And that's going to help you identify them. It's really going to take a lot of practice. Oh, now I'm going way too far. Okay, so your next one is your simple columnar. So simple meaning one row, and then columnar, like looking like columns. So if you look at this cell, it kind of looks like a column, just very long shaped. And sorry, I keep looking at myself because I'm covering my own picture of my face, so that's nice. So it's just gonna be simple, one row, columnar, long. One thing that's important to know is on your simple columnar, you're gonna have your brush border. So that's that little purple line at the top. Another vocabulary word you have is cilia, but those are typically on your pseudostratified, which I'll talk about on the next slide. So sometimes you'll get like a quiz question that will have an arrow pointing to like this like line at the top of the cells, and they'll be like, what is this? And you need to know whether it's the brush border or the cilia. So a good trick that I know, that's not necessarily in your book, but if it's simple columnar, it's your brush border. If it's your pseudostratified columnar, it's going to be your cilia. So you need to learn how to make the difference on those. And then these like white spots that are in the middle of your columnar, those are called your goblet cells. They secrete mucus, and they're on your columnars. So you have your pseudostratified. Sorry, like stuff. Anyways, so pseudostratified means false rows. So it's gonna look like you have like, so stratified means like multiple rows, like row here, like row here of like distinct, very organized rows from what I understand. But pseudostratified means it looks like you have 2 different rows, but really it's just your nucleuses are like out of whack, I guess. So in this one, it looks like you have a row here and a row here, but really your nucleuses are just kind of zigzagging. We don't need to know stratified columnar, so if you see something that looks like 2 rows, you can just assume it's pseudostratified. It's going to be false rows. Again, you're going to have your goblet cells, which are the white ones, and then on the top you have these hair-like structures, and those are your cilia. So that's just a good way to know it. I hope this makes sense, and I think hopefully it will after you've studied and gone through it, and these tips make a little more sense. Okay, so next we have our keratinized versus our non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. So I have to think about this like logically in order for it to make sense in my brain. So keratin is what fills your cells as they die. It makes them hard. I kind of think of them as like as they get to the top of the surface, your fingers like obviously are touching a lot of things, so they have to have more like a hard textured layer. So they fill with keratin. And so when they're keratinized, they're completely filled with keratin. And so that means there's no room for a nucleus. Like the nucleus has been kicked out and keratin has come in. So keratinized, stratified squamous epithelium, you're not going to see any nucleuses up here. Like it's just all like super squished together, super layered. So this is like your keratinized layer. There's no nucleuses. Excuse me. And then on your non-keratinized, you still haven't kicked out your nucleus. So you still are going to have that nucleus. So it's going to be non-keratinized, stratified epithelium. So I always just look for the little black dots if I'm telling the difference. And like I said before, you have your simple squamous, which is going to be 1 row, but we have a lot more than 1 row here. So that's why it's going to be stratified, because you have a lot of different rows of it together. That makes sense. And then again, here's your lumen. It's always important to find that when you're looking at these slides. And then transitional. So the way I think of it is these nucleuses, they all look like that super circle-y round, like kind of like your cuboidal. But there's like multiple rows of it. So we know it's not simple cuboidal. And the only other option with like the circle nucleuses is your transitional. So that's one way I think of it. So if that helps you, that's just like process of elimination in my mind. Another thing that kind of helps me identify it is it kind of has like this bumpy, wavy look to the top of it, like has these wavy looks all over it. That sometimes helps people, but that's how I like identify the transitional is like those circular nucleuses that are all stacked upon each other, like multiple rows of it. So I hope this helped. I'm hoping to get one up on the connective tissues, hopefully later this week. Just hopefully it won't be as long as this video, and I apologize that this one was so long, but I just hope it's helpful. Again, if you need to contact me, please do. I'd be more than happy to help you. I'm off track this semester, so I'm TAing another class and I'm tutoring another class, but for the most part, I'm completely free. So if there's something on my schedule that like it doesn't fit your schedule, I can probably make something work for us, just because I don't really have any other obligations and you guys are my priority. Other advice that I have, start on this class early in the week. Like don't leave it till Friday. Start on Monday, like study hard all week because it takes hours. When I would take this class, I would spend 3 hours on Monday going through the material, and then I'd review it every day for 30 minutes. And then I would have it pretty down by Saturday. But it would be really hard if I would have tried to like spend 3 hours on Friday and then take my test Saturday. So like space it out, understand your limits, like schedule it in. The other thing, especially with like these first 2 units with like your slides and your pictures, don't rely on colors. So you can't just be like, oh, if it's purple, it's going to be transitional. Like that doesn't always work. It's not always stained the same way. So make sure you like know how to identify it based off features. And yeah, so I look forward to serving you this semester, and let me know if I can do anything for you. Have a great week and good luck on this first module.